Okay, it says I'm live. All right, I can hear myself. Okay, let's put on the top live chat. And Arden's here. He says, Foist. I figured you'd have that story about the streaming services on radar already. I've been a little behind the curve. Hi, Arden, by the way. Welcome to the live stream where we do it. What do we do? All right, we do it live. I am fried. I am fried from this weekend. Oh, my beard's killing me, too. I am itchier than I've ever been on my face. I'm going to shave this all off tomorrow because I don't have anything for 2 days. So I'm shaving. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. Yeah, I'm fried. I got up at super early because let me tell you my whole week story. All right, real quick. I did Jane's Tea House on Thursday. That was awesome. Oh, man, was that awesome. I had a really good crowd, and everybody got a book as part of the deal. So, like, it was all in the tea, and so they paid one price, and it was included the talk, the book, and the tea. And they made these awesome cupcakes, which they gave me a bunch of, which I'm still eating. Then Saturday was pretty awesome too. I went to the New Jersey Folk Festival, and that's why I'm still fried, because I had to get up at like 5:50 to get there in time. It was the only way, and I was so tired because I didn't get much sleep. And but the Folk Festival was pretty good. They had moved it from April to August for weather reasons, and we caught some really good weather. The layout I was a little confused about, but I mean they had tons of room. I did okay there. I did pretty good. I don't know. I think I pumped it up in my own head. I was, as you know, I ordered like an extra 100 books just for the show. I thought I would sell 100 books. I didn't, but I sold about half that. And I didn't get my 100 books, but I had plenty of other books. My 100 books are coming tomorrow. And then today I went to the Peach Fest down in Bridgeton for the second day, which I didn't think would be great, but I figured I'd do okay. I did better there than I did at the New Jersey Folk Festival. Shockingly, I sold an entire run of books to one family, and then I got teased. Another person almost bought an entire set, but I sold even more. So I had a really good weekend. I had some weird customers. I won't say where. New Jersey Folk Festival. No, I I had this one kid who he was an older. He wasn't really a kid, but he was super autistic, like hardcore. And he kept picking up the books and asking me this. I forget what question he was asking me, but he was asking the same question over and over. I didn't know what to do after a while. I really didn't. I've had a few autistic kids or special needs kids come to my table. It's no big deal usually. This time it got a little weird because he would not stop picking up things and flipping through the books and putting them down. And he kept putting them down in the wrong order. And like he came by the table once and did it. He was there for about a minute and kind of mixed up everything. I was like, all right, well, he's gone. But then he came back, and then I got the sense he was there to stay. And he kept asking me questions, some of which were a little too personal, and I didn't want to answer them. And he didn't have because he was autistic, he didn't have the self-awareness to understand that he was making me more and more uncomfortable. Like, he wasn't asking anything too weird, but it was just like, yeah, I don't want to answer that question. And then like it went on for a while. I'm going to say like a good 10 minutes. Then his mother saw what was going on and finally came over, and then she tried to kind of guide him away, or maybe he was gonna, I held out hope he was gonna get a book, but then after a while, I was just like, I don't really care. Now I just want him to go. which I didn't say, but I was sort of like bristling, if you know what I mean. I was just like, I don't know what you want me to say, kind of attitude. So it was a little off-putting. It wasn't his fault. I mean, he's autistic, but it was just kind of weird. I never had that happen before. But it wasn't I don't mean to paint it like it was a big deal. It really wasn't. It was just kind of like, man. But other than that, it was the weather was amazing this weekend. I'm a little fried from that. And yeah, it's still August. I was so fried this weekend. I was thinking it was the end of August, and next week was Labor Day, and I think it's the weekend after, right? I think it's a weekend after. So summer's still going. Another week of summer. Rock. All right. So let's get into it. What time is it? 7:07. Where is everybody? The stream's working. Arden is here. Are you here, Arden? You normally say something. All right. So, as always, the Pineys. And as always, click the like and smash like button and blah, blah, blah. The YouTube people are being weird again. But yeah, getting back to your story about streaming. So, Arden found, he sent me a link to it on X. They are apparently doing some sort of new deal with creators, or at least that's the word. And I think it was the Apple deal that got talked about. And the idea is they're going to pay people who create stuff for the streaming platform less money. But the idea is the more people see it and the more subscribers they get, they will get like a bonus. So it sounds like they're offering more royalties. However, I would say this. I was thinking about it, and the first thought that came was, I would need to see the actual numbers. I mean, oh, there he is. Hit that like button. It was starring in a comic book movie that touched your woman inappropriate cause it had what? Hit that like button. Hit that button like it was starring in a comic book movie and touched your woman inappropriately cause it has anxiety. Starring in a comic book movie that touched your woman inappropriately. Okay. But I'm a little fried. Don't make the jokes too complicated for me. Just stick to fart jokes and you'll be good. So the streaming deal could be good in the short term, but if the Arden, sorry, I was gaming and it was loud and didn't realize you had spoken my name. Knobs, gags, and fart jokes. Gotcha. So it could be the sort of, I would doubt that the deal is particularly great for talent. That would be my gut instinct, that there's no way these guys are offering more money to talent. I think it's fine to pay people essentially scale and give them bigger royalties. But the question is, how do the royalties actually work? If you're talking about, well, we're going to give you a bonus for every subscriber that, we get because of you, how do you even determine that? So it would probably be in a window of time, right? So say, Arden, I was thinking it was weird to talk about paying writers based on performance. Isn't that strange? It's not so strange. I get paid by performance on Kindle Unlimited. So Kindle Unlimited, you put your books in the program, and they pay you by the page. Now they pay you basically the same amount you would make on an ebook, but they spread it over the pages. So if somebody only reads like half the book, you only get half the money. They have to read the whole book. Ardent, good point. Didn't think about it that way. Yeah, see, these guys are MBAs. Everybody who works in these executive positions usually has an MBA, or some sort of business degree, and they sit around all day and think, how can we make more money? Now, some of them think of actual good ideas, like, well, why don't we provide a better service for less cost? And then we'll get more people, and it might cost us in the short term, but in the long term, we'll make more money, something like that. But a lot of them are under gun to propose something and make the company extra money, and they're not doing it. So they come up with the brilliant idea, hey, what if we pay everybody less and make them do twice the work? Why don't we fire half the staff and make the survivors do all the work? And that's how you get, a lot of money for getting everybody fired, essentially. So it could be that situation. Like, Apple could basically be saying, all right, so let's say you pay a writer, I don't know, under the old system, you were paying them $200,000. And then you say, okay, now we're only going to pay you, let's say, $100,000. But for every new subscriber, you get a penny or, 10 cents or something. And then they looked at the numbers and they realized, oh, that'll equal, unless it's a major hit, it'll only equal about $30,000. So we're actually saving $70,000, and he, with his ego, thinks he'll make more money, because unless the thing's a major, major hit, we won't be paying him much. Now, rarely this sort of juggling of the royalties can backfire on a company. So I am reminded of, I think it was, oh God, I can't remember the guy's name, but a friend of a friend knew him, and he was a writer on X-Men. But he got in before X-Men took off. This is like post Claremont, but X-Men kind of went into the toilet, but then it came back. I want to say in the 90s, early 90s. So it was right before it came back. So they offered him an incentive where he would make more money per issue. And he signed on to it, and then it blew up in Marvel's face, because it turned out, the sales went back through the roof, and he was making $80,000 as a bonus per issue. And unfortunately, I hear a lot of it went up his nose, but that's a pretty amazing amount of money, right? You're making $80,000 an issue on X-Men. That's pretty crazy. So I heard. I won't say who I heard it was. But that's rare. I think they probably have gamed the system in such a way that you could make more money, but it's likely you'll probably make less. I don't know. I would have to see the numbers. JEC is here. Hi, hi, hi. Kite is here. Hi, fellas. Nice to see you, Kite. Ardent. Nice money. Oh, yeah, the $80,000. So it could go either way. Like, it could blow up in Apple's face, right? So they could offer me that deal and I take it, and then the Pineys blows up on Apple to the point at which they're paying me, $2 million a week, and their accounting guys are having a nervous breakdown. We're paying this guy $2 million a week. A week we're paying him. Like, we didn't know it was going to be that much money. Everybody keeps logging in. Who knows? Arden says hello to JEC. Kite. Gutsy. He thinks you're gutsy, apparently. Kite, hope you've all been well. We have been well. Good to see you. So, the streaming royalties, it could go either way. Could go either way. It might only benefit certain people, right? JC, $2 million is nothing to Apple. Don't kid yourself. They pay people in hierarchies in these companies to save the company money. Okay? So maybe initially it won't be anything because, to get paid $2 million a week, you got to be bringing in like $20 million a week, right? Then it's nothing. Like, oh yeah, this guy brings in $20 million a week. Of course we pay him $2 million. But what happens is some new guy comes in like 3 years down the road, and he's trying to make his bones in the company. So, let's see. Can I tell this story? All right, I'll tell it this way. So I had a relative who worked at a major corporation. I won't say which one. And they got bought by another major corporation. And they had an executive program. And the executive program, as I understand it, works something like this. They would bring in a new executive, so like somebody right out of college, and they would say to them, your job is to audit everything in the company and find us money, find us malfeasance, find us a bunch of lost inventory we didn't even know we had. And then your performance review after, I think they got hired for a year, something like that. Then after a year, we're going to give you an evaluation. And if you pass the evaluation, you're going to be given a executive position. But if you fail, you're fired. And that was the program, essentially. So they had 1 year to make their bones. And they would travel all over the country because this was a really big company, going into their new assets, like the company that my relative worked at that got bought, and audit the S out of it. And they had to find something, right? And half these guys were living out of hotels, doing coke all day because they didn't stop working. They worked from the time they got up to the time they went to bed, 7 days a week, because they had 1 year to make it. And if they didn't make it, they were done. They would have to go work somewhere else and start over. So these guys would go through everything. And another relative was an intern at one of these companies, and they would ask him questions like, does your dad get along with his coworkers? Because, if you were an intern, your dad probably worked there. And stuff like that. So they would ask personal questions because they were looking for anything, any kind of dirt, any leverage to find anything in the company that was a waste or that could get somebody fired or that could get a division shut down to save money. Didn't matter why, although it would have to save money, but it didn't matter why it would save money. These guys were ruthless. They were coke fiends. They were running all over the place at this particular company, which I sort of know about. Anyhow, I'm not saying that's the case with Apple, but there are people like that in these big corporations. They don't care about the product. Yeah, they especially don't care about some stupid movie, I would say. I think they just care about their money and their position in the company. So if they could find some way to cut, and if you're one of the cash cows, they're not going to look at the profit. They're just looking at the cost. If their job is to cut costs, they're like, well, we're paying this guy $2 million a week. What if we cut him back somehow? What if we replace him with a guy we pay $200,000 a week? They'll do that. This is why some things happen. Some of it's ego. I mean, I heard that on the X-Men movie, after the first two, after the first one, they were trying to hire away Bryan Singer, and they kept offering him money. And at the same time, again, this is what I heard, there was a movie exec who had taken over, and I guess this was Fox, and the X-Men had been the project of a previous guy who worked there. So in that instance, movie execs don't want their predecessors' projects to work out. They want them to fail. So he was trying to sabotage Fox's movies, essentially. The X-Men 2 movie, he kept cutting the budget, hoping that Bryan Singer would jump ship. But Singer wanted to stay on and do another movie, and so he stayed on despite the cuts, and he made a good movie. And eventually he got hired away to the Superman thing, and then that gave the movie executive, again, this is all what I heard, that gave the movie exec an opportunity to dump X-Men 3 on a director who I think he had only directed like music videos prior to that movie, and thus didn't do too well. But is that true? I don't know. Ardent, GTSY, good to see you. Oh, I thought you were calling him Gutsy. They are gutsy for being here. Anyhow, again, I'm very fried if you missed the beginning of this. Let's get into the numbers. Oh my God, is that real? Well, it looks like the K-pop Demon Hunters sing-along event is the #1 movie in the country. Seriously? Is this right? Weekend domestic chart. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. All right. That's it, everybody. Hollywood's dead. Good night. What the frig? K-pop Demon Hunters sing-along event. Is this okay? Has anyone seen this thing? I've heard the legends. The people got dragged to it. Apparently, it made $18 million in 1,700 theaters. Did they charge them extra money? Ardent, the Zoomers are mental for K-pop. So they're not even singing in English, right? They're singing in Korean? I don't get it. K-pop Demon Hunters sing-along event. How could they sing? They know they're singing along in Korean? Makes no sense to me. It just shows you where movies are. Movies are in the toilet if this is the #1 movie. God forbid this becomes the new trend in Hollywood. God forbid. The K-pop Demon Hunters sing-along event. Okay. Well, fortunately, I don't have any kids to be ashamed of. That's the one silver lining. Ardent, probably charge them to get out. I don't know. They must have charged them a lot of money because this is $18 million for 1,700 theaters. That's over 10,000 per theater? They must have been packed. Or, wait, I guess they must have been packed. Or maybe they charged them extra. I don't know. That's nuts. It's the #1 thing. How can that be the #1 thing on the weekend? Oh my God. You should be ashamed of yourself, Hollywood. You really ought to. It's a cartoon, too, right? It's not real people. It's a cartoon. I mean, at least some of the anime is cool. If it was an anime thing, I'd be like, well, some of that's cool. This sounds like the dumbest thing ever. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing. All right, #2 is Weapons. No surprise there. In its third week, dropping from 15.6 million. It's in more theaters. Wow. Yeah, this movie's doing really well. Everybody's saying it's good, but that's what everybody said about Barbarian. I didn't think it was that great. 199 million. It definitely didn't cost a lot of money because this is a horror movie, so this definitely made its money. 38 million. Yeah, this is way in the black. Way in the black. So it's good to go. Freakier Friday is #3, dropping from 2. It's like a repeat of last week, except for that top thing. 113 million for something that costs 42. That's money. I mean, yeah, with the advertising, who knows? They probably advertised the hell out of that, but ugh, no, thank you. Number 4, still at 4, Fantastic Four, 4.9 million. And again, let's see, 478 million on a movie that was 200. So yeah, this is probably going to break even, right? So 200 plus another 200 and a half, it's 450. Or no, 500. It's probably going to squeak to 500. I think it will. Again, that's not good, but it's not the worst. I think it could have easily, it would have crushed the box office. Had Pedro Pascal, all they needed to do was put the regular Silver Surfer in, maybe follow the story a little more closely, and have Pedro Pascal shave. You would have had easily a solid box office. So, instead, you got beat out by sort of a mid Superman movie. Number 5 is The Bad Guys 2, which, as always, whatever Sam Rockwell is in, gets sidelined somehow. 5.1 million in its 4th week, 149 million on $80 million. Yeah, that's not money yet. Not money at all. Probably, I don't think that's going to make it. Maybe on sales later. I don't know. In its 2nd week, Nobody drops by 60%. I hear this is very disappointing, unfortunately. It looked great. The trailer looked great, except for Sharon Stone. Sharon Stone didn't seem like a good villain, but it seemed like a solid premise. But 28 million probably ain't gonna do it. What's the budget on this thing? 25 million? Nope. Probably not gonna make its money back. This is pretty cooked. It's for the best, I think. I like the first one. It's entertaining, but it's not great. I had a lot of problems with the first one, but I did say you could probably fix some of the problems in the second one, because the problem with the first one is you just don't know what whacked out organization that Bob Odenkirk worked for. The second one could have outlined that in some way that made a slight amount of sense, that you would go, oh, okay, and then you could have moved on with the story. But yeah, this is pretty sad. Didn't sound like you accomplished that. Now I kind of can not have to watch it. Sort of gonna watch it, but now I'm just like, sounds like it's a piece of crap. I'm not gonna waste my time. Somebody today asked me if I was gonna watch that Alien Earth thing, and I'm like, no, not gonna do that. I hear it's crap. What am I gonna watch it for? Ardent, speaking of movies, I'm reviewing Doc Savage 1975 tomorrow, and The Russian Badger, a game streamer, is a near perfect plastic man, reposted on my Twitter. I saw that. He looks, he needs the glasses, but that's about it. And, to dye his hair black. Nobody 2 was only 25 million. Wow. Yeah. A lot of people are saying it's not great. Ardent, he was CIA. I think that was in the dialogue of the first one. Yeah, but it didn't make any sense because he had all these buddies, and I don't know. I didn't get CIA from that, but maybe you're right. And the CIA doesn't operate like that. So It didn't feel like the CIA to me. Number 7 is Superman, dropping from 6. Let's see what the new total is. 604. There it is. Crack 600. That's so using the formula, 450, 570, 62. It's over. That's profit. Ardent, no wait, I'm wrong. That was worked out in a YouTube mystery video based on his tattoo. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It just needed some kind of fleshing out. But I hear like his whole family is like, his wife's like killing people too in the movie, and I'm just like, what? That was definitely not in the first movie. Yeah, see, Superman did okay. It didn't do great. It made money. It made money. As long as it makes money, it's not a flop. It's better than breaking even. It made you money. Now, spending, you know, $225 million plus another $100 million of advertising just to make probably $70 million is not great. Not great. However, when you add in all the toy sales, the merchandise, and the fact that you're going to anchor the DCU on this, it could be fine. Down the road, it keeps making you money. It's not going to be like some of the previous Superman movies, which I don't know if anybody wants to watch them. Definitely don't want to watch that. Maybe the Zack Snyder ones, but not the Bryan Singer one. Yeah, that's not a very watchable one. I don't see people rewatching that one. There wasn't a lot there. This, it's a bit frantic. I could probably watch it again. I wouldn't do it voluntarily, let's say, but if somebody put it on, and I wouldn't mind watching it a second time. But Ardent, how much more might it have been made if they spent a couple of bucks on duct taping James Gunn's phone to the bottom of his car? James Gunn just needs to calm down. He needs to stay off the internet for the most part. I mean, I sort of get his strategy. It was kind of like he was going to defend it. He was going to defend his project from any rumor and show, the studio heads how to deal with trolls online. And so his strategy was to friggin' go at anybody who dared, talk about his projects, call him wrong. And, for the most part, it worked. But it annoyed everybody, I think, for him specifically. And I think he did too much of it. I think he should have been more selective when he did that. Like, he didn't have to respond to every little tiny criticism of Superman or whatever. And he could have waited, too. Like, he could have been more nonchalant about it. Right? So it could have been like, a week and people are talking about whatever the local controversy was. And then at the end of the week, he just sort of rattles off, that wasn't true, that wasn't true, that wasn't true. And then just goes back to making a movie and then post a still or something. Like, he needs a little more distance from the audience. He's like the only guy in Hollywood that he needs to get away from his audience. He's a little too, I know too many tweets of James Gunn's. So, and he should spend more time making the movie, I think. But I guess he's just bored. But, yeah, that's money. That's money. It's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. It gives Warner Brothers a win. A small win, but a win nonetheless. And they really needed one. They really needed one. And at the same time, Marvel has a year of losses. Fantastic Four, maybe you could kind of call it a very weak win when all is said and done. Probably just breaks even, maybe makes a couple of mil. But that's from the company that was winning this superhero genre overwhelmingly for years and just came off the worst year ever. The worst year so far. Um, so, and they were all mistakes that of Marvel essentially shooting themselves in the foot, in my opinion. The MCU has shot itself in the foot so many times I've lost count. Everything they did this year was completely fixable. Every single thing. And it didn't take a genius. Any one of us could have fixed Disney and their movies. Any one of us. Would have been easy. Any random normie off the street who didn't even care about movies that much could have probably fixed it too. They're that obvious to me. So, but I don't know. They're twisting themselves in knots for reasons I don't quite understand anymore. Yes, I get it was part of the wokeness and the ESG and all the various side deals we're not privy to, but Jesus, after a while, how many times are you going to lose this game before you go, you know what? Maybe we'll start playing it the way we did before when we won the game with $1 billion opening. So, God, I'm so thirsty. All day, 2 days in the sun. Look how tan I am this year. I'm tan like all over just about this year. I normally don't get tan here, but I'm tan. So anyhow, good for you, James Gunn. Shut up. Premiering this week, Honey Don't, premiering at 3 million. This is one of the Coen brothers. They're officially not making movies together anymore so far. I guess this is the Coen's, I forget which Coen this is, and his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, but it's a movie called Honey Don't, and it's Margaret Qualley as a lesbian private detective who's trying to solve a mystery, and she hooks up with Aubrey Plaza, who's her, her love interest in this. I sort of want to see it because it's a Coen brother, and it kind of has that feel to it. And I want to see Margaret Qualley and Aubrey Plaza make out, which I'm sure is in there, but I'm not sure. It's a pretty weak opening. Maybe. Definitely something to see on streaming, I think. Ardent lesbian PI? Nope. Okay. To each his own. I'll watch the lesbians. Number 9, The Naked Gun. In its 4th week, this is not going to make its money, I think. LeMay. Huh? We were talking about the Honey Don't. So I believe is about a lesbian PI. Unless I got that wrong. I don't think I did. 86 million, but there was no budget on this one, but I hear it's not making enough money. Ardent says hello. Yellow Flash said that. I mean, 86 million for this comedy wasn't a lot of crazy things in it. Probably would have been the celebrities and Seth MacFarlane's paycheck. LeMay at Ardent. Hi. 86 million though. Yeah, I don't think. Oh, look here. Look at the synopsis. Only one man has a particular set of skills to lead police squad and save the world. See, they did use that as a bit, but why would you just put it in the synopsis and not in the movie? I think you really missed a big joke there, but not bad. I mean, I don't know if they're going to make another one. Again, if they do, I think they need to take Police Squad like in a new direction. You have to. You have to start parroting something more current than the 70s police shows. It should be like CSI. You should throw a Dexter parody in there. There's all kinds of stuff you could do. You could just rattle off all the shows. SVU. Should definitely do a parody of SVU. Number 10. God damn it. Jurassic World reboot. I hate this franchise with a burning passion of a red hot sun. It's in 8 weeks. Just take it out of theaters already. $844 million. Okay, you're not going to make... You made your money. You're not going to make $1 billion. Just give it up. Can't stand Jurassic World. Number 11, Relay. Why do I know this movie? 1.9 million. Relay. A world-class fixer who specializes in brokering lucrative payoffs. Oh, okay. I did see the trailer for this. Between corrupt corporations and the individuals who threaten their ruin. He keeps his identity a secret through meticulous planning and always follows an exacting set of rules. But when a message arrives one day from a potential client needing his protection just to stay alive, the rules quickly start to change. Yeah, that looked kind of interesting. Ardent, parody all these new Western shows. Do you mean like, oh gosh. Is that new one that took place in the Southwest in the 70s, I think? Dark Winds, I think it was called. Yeah, I think I wanted to see this. Okay, now I remember what this was. Only 1.9 million. I think they're getting beat up because number one, it's Bleecker Street. They don't get that much distribution. They get pretty decent distribution though. Yeah, kind of getting beat up in the summer. This probably should have been something in the early spring for a release. But, you know, maybe it'll do okay next week. We'll see the second week. Number 12, dropping from 9, F1 the movie. Still hear good things about this. 1.8 million. Number 13. I think this might be the American version of this, Niza 2, which is the movie that made $2 billion in China. It's come to America, 1.5 billion. I think it's all based on Chinese myths. So if you want to see it, I guess. Number 14 is Eden. I saw this trailer. I didn't think it looked great. It's a lot of names in it. 1 million and change in its first week. Seems kind of low for the star power, if I remember correctly. Who the hell is in this? Anna de Armas. I want to say Sydney Sweeney's in it. And like Jude Law, maybe? Let me go to the IMDb. Yeah. So it's Jude Law, Anna de Armas, Vanessa Kirby, who wasn't big when I saw the trailer, but then she sort of blew up. Sydney Sweeney, yep. And I think that's it in terms of name. Maybe Paul Gleason. Yeah, that's still some big names. Doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. The shocking true story of a group of disillusioned outsiders who abandon civilization, setting on a remote and uninhabited island, only to discover that the greatest threat isn't the brutal climate or the deadly wildlife, but each other. As tensions spiral and desperation takes hold, a twisted power struggle unfolds, leading to betrayal, violence, and the deaths of half the colony. Excuse me. So it's Lord of the Flies for Hipsters? I think it takes place during the 40s or something. So no summary or no budget on that. That's got to be a pretty big budget with all those names. Number 15 is Together. That's that weird Dave Franco, Alison Brie movie. In its fourth week, $454,000. 23 million. I want to say that Franco and his wife, Alison Brie, I think they produced this movie. They may have even financed it, or at least gotten the financing. So this may be their attempt to kind of do their own thing. It looks a little too disturbing for me. It's kind of a horror movie where they like end up going to this like weird thing that's either on their property or near their property, and they become sort of connected in a weird physical way where they're like merging into each other. It's a little odd. Carter Chain, that poster makes me uncomfortable. The whole movie looks uncomfortable. I think in the end, Dave Franco has sex with Alison Brie and they can't pull apart. And then they have to cut themselves loose. And stuff like that happens. And that's not the only thing that happens in the movie. So, yeah, I don't think it's a movie you can end sensibly. How to Train Your Dragon, the live action thing. 11 weeks of this stuff. Still in theaters. Oh my God, they put it back in more theaters. What is wrong with you people? Please, stop remaking movies. Then Trust. It's like number 18. Trust. Oh, this is Sophie Turner. After a scandal, a Hollywood starlet retreats to a remote cabin, but she's not alone. Betrayed by the man she trusted most, she's trapped in a brutal game of survival. She can hide, but she can't run. Why? Is she paralyzed? I don't know. Sophie Turner, she just kind of annoys me now. After watching her nasty divorce from the Jonas brother, whichever one she married, kind of don't like her anymore. Kind of like, yeah, she seems kind of like a bee, like a bee who would step out on you. And she's not that hot to me. Am I crazy? That Sophie Turner's hot, but like she's not that hot. I don't know, something about her. I don't think she's that hot. I mean, she's good looking, but Ana de Armas, that's a smoke show. This is, Sansa from Game of Thrones. I don't think she's that hot. Next up is Sketch in its third week. This is a movie from Angel Studios with Tony Hale, where his daughter can draw stuff and it comes to life. It's kind of like that Purple Crayon movie. I'm not sure why they made it. Maybe it was supposed to be a knockoff of that. I don't know. Well, they made it for $3 million and it's already made $7 million. So I think mission accomplished on that one. Carter Chain. Hold on, let me be the judge of Sophie Turner. All right. Get up some Sophie Turner pictures. All right. See, that makeup with the raccoon eyes is an instant turnoff to me. There's way too much makeup. There he is. Joe Jonas with her. Even that, she doesn't look great. Again, she's not unattractive. I'm not calling her ugly. Here she is as a blonde. Kind of generic. Slightly better, though. Ardent Sophie Turner is barely out of mid with red hair. JC, she's fine. Red hair is a red flag, though. Carter Chain. At Ardent, I agree. A lot of bikini shots of her. Oh, here we go. This is a body shot. I mean, that's pretty hot. From far away. Carter Chain, good thing I'm king of the mids. You're king of the mids. Well, congratulations. Ardent at JEC, as a ginger, I agree. Definitely red flag. Not a single bikini shot? That's a disgrace. You're a celebrity. Give us a bikini. Let me type in Sophie Turner bikini. There we go. Oof. Now see, that's without the makeup. That is, yeah, that's not a good look on the face. Wow. Ooh, get her a sandwich. Yeah, I'm not liking that hairline either. Yeah, it's just not doing it for me. Carter, some rough photos. I know. There's some super rough photos on here. See, with the makeup on, not bad. But, is that her? Can't even tell. I don't think that's her. I think these are some other people. That's not her. Who the hell's that? No idea. Rita Ora. Why is she on here? I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask for that, AI. You stupid machine. Yeah, that's not a good shot of her at all. See, with the glasses on, she looks okay. What's going on here underneath her arm? Did she have a boob job? Going wrong? Because that's where they put the scar. They put it in under your arm. All right, I got to stop looking at photos of her. It's unpleasant. Carter Shade, she's a DC 6. All right, I need to know the metric. What? You mean Washington, DC 6? Because that's rough. A 6 in DC. Jesus. Holy cow. Because that's only 2 above a hot homeless chick in DC. Although now they're all gone, I guess. But gosh. After Sketch, there's Splitsville. I think I saw the trailer for this. 105K. After Ashley asks for a divorce, good-natured Carrie runs into his friends, Julie and Paul, for support. He's shocked to discover the secret to their happiness is an open marriage. Oh, I did. Yeah, I definitely saw this. That is until Carrie crosses the line and throws all their relationships into chaos. Yeah, that's a dumb movie. To me, that's a dumb movie. It's stupid. Wouldn't go see it. Carter. Yes, Washington, D.C. 6, which is respectable, especially now that all the hot Republican Zoomers are down here for the admin. JC, things are so ugly in D.C., they're declaring martial law to clean it up over there. All right. Well, thankfully, Trump's cleaning up the town, so soon there'll be 8s and 9s and 10s everywhere. After Splitsville is a movie called Lurker. Can I see this one? Trailer? I don't remember it. 64K. When a 20-something retail clerk encounters a rising pop star, he takes the opportunity to edge his way into the in crowd. But as the line between friend and fan blurs beyond recognition, access and proximity become a matter of life and death. Yeah, they've made that kind of movie before, too, I think. It's only in 4 theaters. Then the Smurfs going out of theaters mercifully. 61K. Cat Video Fest. You still have time to catch Cat Video Fest. It's still in 39 theaters, everybody. If you hate YouTube so much you would rather pay $14 to see it, get yourself to Cat Video Fest 2025. Lilo and Stitch somehow still in theaters. 14 weeks. That's a long run these days. JC, Secrets to the Happy Relationship is an open marriage, so it's a science fiction picture? Yes, that is a science fiction picture. But a lot of people try to do that. My Mother's Wedding. That's a Scarlett Johansson thing. Elio. How is Elio still in theaters? And the last one is Pools in one theater for $10K. Pools. What the hell was Pools again? Pools dives into the chaotic life of Kennedy, a rebellious college student who has one day to get her life together or face expulsion. Rather than conform, she recruits a misfit crew of a spontaneous night of pool hopping through the lavish backyards of her college town. What starts as an adrenaline-fueled escape turns into something deeper as Kennedy confronts grief, identity, and the lingering impact of her father's death. It's messy, it's emotional, it's the ride of her life. That does not sound good at all. That sounds like a mishmash of nonsense. No, thank you. Yeah, you're about to be kicked out of college. Let's run around and jump in the pools. Like, that's sort of the plot to Animal House when you get right down to it. They're about to be kicked out of college, so they have a toga party anyway since they're going to be kicked out of college. But then it turns into something fun, not an examination of grief and identity and a lingering impact of her father's death. God, do you know what a movie is, Hollywood, anymore? You know what fun is? Not that. Not that. 76 million in August. This is August. Summer. Summer, you made 76 million, and 18 of it was K-pop Demon Hunters sing-along event. You ought to be ashamed. Storbang is here. Burt Lancaster already did that in The Swimmer. He did? Are you making a joke? I think you're making a joke. I remember Burt Lancaster in, what was it called? The Tough Guys or Tough Guys? It was like one of the last movies he made when he was old. But he was pretending to be, like a tough guy. 76 million. What was last week? I think we're going down. Yeah, 87 million. And before that, 131. Wow. This is summer. 87 million. You can't even crack 100 million in the summer. What the hell? What the hell, man? And how does Lesbian PI not make money? It's just crazy. JC, Swimmer is a real movie. It's a weird, artsy thing. All right. I don't remember that one. Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Here it is, 1968. Wow, that was a long time ago. A man spends a summer day swimming home via all the pools in his quiet suburban neighborhood. Wow, that is very similar. The Swimmer, starring Burt Lancaster and his chest. I'm going swimming. Everywhere. Everywhere? You can't go everywhere. Yes, I can. I'm going to every pool in this neighborhood. Well, honey, if you have to, I guess I'll just drink myself to death. Burt Lancaster, Janet Langard, and Janice Rule. 1968. I was 2 when this came out. Alrighty. Alright, let's, that's it for box office. It's pathetic. Let's see what's happening in the trades. Oh my god, it's K-pop. K-pop Demon Hunters. Netflix tops the box office. Okay. The theatrical averse streamer has found itself leading domestic charts with a sing-along version of K-pop Demon Hunters. This is what is at the top of the movies. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing. Mandalorian star Katie Sackhoff basically didn't work for 3 years after Star Wars show because she didn't understand her character. It broke me. I actually have an interesting sort of experience with that situation. I had a girl in my improv class who, for various reasons, which I too complicated to go into, she lost her confidence as an actress being in our group. And she gave it up. She quit acting and couldn't do it. As far as I know, she never came back to it. She might have eventually regained her confidence, but she told us, weeks after she quit the group, she talked to somebody in the group and said, yeah, I've completely lost my confidence. I can't go on stage. So it does happen. I could see being in a bad show and trapped in a character and they're not really giving you any directions, how that could happen if that was the case. Ardent, I think Katie Sackhoff failed to do any research into monarchs. I mean, Napoleon would have been a good choice for a character study. I don't know. I didn't see that show. I don't want to say it. Dexter Original Sin canceled despite renewal announcement. Dexter Resurrection Season 2 writer's room to open soon. Guess. Alex Ogle is here. Evening, bigots. Katie Sackhoff was great as Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica, but Tricia Heifer was keeping this Canadian end up. Hubba hubba. Now I remember her. I that's the same actress. She was Starbuck. It's weird that she lost her confidence. Starbuck wouldn't have lost his confidence. Very strange. Ardent at Alex Ogle. Low. LOL. Silence thou prejudiced varlet. Starbuck outcharmed the hell out of that plank in a red dress. Yeah, she was Starbuck. Okay. Caught Stealing review. I kind of want to see this movie. It looks cool. Caught Stealing. Not going to really dig into a variety review, though. Ardent and good in a roll, too. Box office. Weapons crossing 200 million. Materialist hits 85 million globally. Please don't make another one of them. That looked awful. Jerry Adler, Hesh Rabkin on The Sopranos, dies at 96. Oh, man, that was a good run. Who was he on The Sopranos? Hesh Rabkin. I don't remember that character. Oh, now I remember him. Yeah, he was in everything. He always played that kind of character. He was always the, Jewish guy who was in, the music industry. You got it, kid. He was that guy. Oh, and a lot of different things. Alex Ogle at Ardent. Look up Tricia Heffler. Much hotter. She would have been a good support actress for Sydney Sweeney in a bikini in my next project. Let's see. Don't care about that. Kumail Nanjiani. I can only say his name when I see it. It's a really tough name to remember. Signed on for 6 Marvel movies before Eternals. I thought it was my job for the next 10 years, but none of that happened. Yes. Well, don't worry. James Gunn is casting you as Booster Gold for some insane reason. So, I will say this: the guy's in shape, but I don't think he's Booster Gold. I just don't think he's Booster Gold. Just give him a new character. How hard is it to make a superhero character? And you can't dig through the archives and find one friggin' Indian character in the DC universe. I'm sure there's one. Or Pakistani. Sorry, he's Pakistani. I forgot. Booster Gold, the whole point is his name is Booster Gold, and he has gold hair. He has blonde hair. I'm sure they'll give him blonde highlights or something, but... And he is a comedian, but... Yeah, I just don't see him in a role. Ardent at Alex Ogle watched number 6 carefully, to be fair. Ardent, wahaha, imagine thinking the Eternals would be a success. What? Booster Gold? Yeah, that's what I read the other day. He was vying for it, and then there was a rumor, and then it was shot down, but recently I think it's been confirmed. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do my job. Do the research. That's basically what you're saying when you say, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, you figure it out. I'll say things. You figure it out if I'm right. Alex Ogle. So with Disney wanting to appeal to the male audience again, as if they ever did, what stories do you think could help them achieve their target? Well, first off, I think it's bluster at this point. I don't think they actually want to do that. I think they want to give people the impression they'll do that. And I think the first thing they'll do is they'll hire a whole team of women to do it. Because that's what Disney does. In my opinion. I think these corporate morons will hire... I think they will literally hire almost all women to figure out, how do we appeal to men? What about a romance? That's a great idea. Again, I have personal experience talking to women on a project that was supposed to be aimed at men. And I was the only man on the project. And they wouldn't listen to me. How do you think that went? How do you think that went? About as well as you'd expect. That's what I think Disney will do. I think they'll get, maybe 5 women and 1 man. And he'll weekly say, ladies, I don't think that's really what men want to see. Shut up, Harold. I'm trying to work here. Go get us some more coffee. I just don't think they're going to figure it out. I think this is all a PR ploy to get people to say, oh, no, Disney's not doing that anymore. They gave up all that woke stuff. What do you want, Joe? Say hi. Yes, my little dog. Soon James Bond will fall into our trap. Rah, rah. All right, go away. So, I mean, if they did want to actually do something, there's 2 ways they could go. The first way, of course, would be to get original stuff. Maybe they could do some sort of big contest on Disney Plus and get, a bunch of filmmakers to make a bunch of films and then buy the best one and turn it into a big hit or whatever. But it would require people who would know what to pick. And again, I think they're so woked up at this point, they would literally not have the right person to be able to pick. They would end up picking a bunch of girly stuff anyway. Oh, I don't want to pick that. That's toxic masculinity. Let's pick the one where the gay cowboys are picking flowers in the field. That'll be their version of masculinity. Pedro Pascal is their version of masculinity. Now, the other thing they might do is go the complete opposite direction. Meaning that, okay, everything has to have fart jokes in it. And, make it disgusting and sexist and maybe a little racist. And, Like, it'll go the other way. It'll be like, God, every guy is like a total pig. I don't know. But what they could do is they could hire guys like me with a IP that would appeal to guys and give us money and let us go to town. But they wouldn't do that, I don't think, because they would, again, it's like this corporate structure they have. Another smart thing they could do is just buy a good one. But where is that? I mean, there's the part of the problem is there's no platform left that actually platforms this stuff. There's like every once in a while something ekes out, but there's not a lot of it, so they could, and again they would have to have the eye for it. So they need to hire some new people. Number one, they need to hire a Trump. They need to hire a real man to pick men's stuff. Their response will probably be to develop a team that could at some point pick men's stuff, made up of mostly women. Ardent, yeah, no, Booster is supposed to be a tragic comic character. I don't think Ninjani has the chops for it. Well, it depends on, I want to see Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. I want to see that. Comedic wise, Kumail did do comedy. He started as a stand-up, I believe, and then sort of switched into acting, and he was in a pretty decent episode of Archer, but I just don't think he's right for Booster Gold. He just, he's just not the right attitude for it, but I don't think they care. I really don't. Alex Ogle. It's Hollywoke all over again. Yeah. They put together packages. That's the thing. So they put together a package. Who do you got for this? Oh, we got Kumail Nanjiani. He's been in this and that and this. Oh, yeah, I've heard of him. And then that's why he gets in. He's got the right agent. They've heard of his name. Now, they could get a guy who probably looks exactly like Booster Gold that no one's ever heard of, who's actually pretty funny, but they don't want to do that. I don't think. Even though it would save them a lot of money because they could pay him scale. A guy like that. But I'm sure there's a guy like that somewhere, but you have to really seek it out, and you have to know how to pick talent. Like Kumail, I don't know, I thought he was talented, but then he got like super woke in my view. Now he's annoying to me. And plus, that he picked the Eternals and thought that shows you, like, I don't think he has the chops to pick anything creative now. So maybe pick somebody else who does. Maybe get a good script. If you have a good script, you probably will work out okay, but... Ardent at Alex Ogle. Disney male-centric pitch. Sydney Sweeney in a bikini is accompanied by Tricia Heffler in a tight dress and Katie Sackhoff in armor as a stormtrooper Star Wars nerd chick. As the three of them travel the country educating pizzerias on the evils of pineapple. I like it. Yeah, I'll greenlight that one now. Alex Ogle at Ardent. I'd greenlight that if we could get Pablo Pascal as the villain putting the pineapple on the pizza. Ardent, deal. With Bella Ramsey as the henchman person. Alex Ogle at Ardent. Bella can play the rather misshapen pineapple. Pineapple face, says Ardent. Take that, James Gunn. Oh boy, pineapple face. That is pretty funny. So, yeah. I don't know what they're doing anymore. I really don't. Like, all the people in Hollywood, you had to pick Kumail in a failed... Normally, the normal pattern in Hollywood used to be this. If you were an actor and you were in something that failed as hard as the Eternals failed, that was the last time you acted, usually. Now, for instance, you remember Planet of the Apes, right? So the sequel, I forget what it was called, I guess Beneath the Planet of the Apes. They made a sequel, and I forget who starred in it, but that guy, I don't think he did much work ever again after that. Now, what's his face? Charlton Heston was in it too, but he was a big enough star that didn't matter. So, like, Kumail was, I think, that was the biggest movie he was in. Maybe he was in a handful of other movies that no one really ever saw, but that was his first big debut. So normally, that would be the it for him. He'd probably be relegated to TV or the background guy. But now they're going to cast him as Booster Gold, the main character, in a completely other movie? Seems odd. Seems very counterintuitive. Like you only got 200 guys to cast in movies and you keep casting the same ones. You know, some people can leave Hollywood. They could just leave, go get other jobs. Kumail could go back to doing stand-up or, I don't know, fitness, whatever he wants to do. Why do you keep giving him another shot? Why does he get another bite at the apple? There are other actors out there. Summer box office won't reach 4 billion milestone after all. The rate things are happening? I don't think so. Is that about it? Yeah, that's about it. All right, moving on to Fandom Pulse. They're trying to cancel Orson Scott Card again. No bueno. Gamergate icon Mr. Meadoker targeted by swatting attack while battling health issues. Oh, that's no bueno. Don't like that. Father Calvin Robinson on bringing the culture to Christ. He was on the Lotus Eaters. You may remember him. James Gunn. Oh, okay, so this was a thing. And I want to circle back to Lotus Eaters in a little bit. James Gunn defends Peacemaker gay orgy. Yes, this was a thing. Did I make the video? I think I was so tired last night. I believe I made a video about this. After Asimov gets canceled for AI art cover, the magazine of fantasy and science fiction comes under fire. So I guess they did it too. But James Gunn apparently started an orgy as the opening for season 2 of Peacemaker. I didn't see the show. I refused to watch the show because John Cena's in it. And I'm very upset at his apology to China about Taiwan. In Mandarin. But yeah, I don't get what the F, James Gunn. Ardent, gross. And not only was in an orgy, it was a bisexual orgy. And I get it. It was supposed to be some joke, like he goes back to drugs and alcohol and sex when the other superheroes tell him no. But, dude, and apparently there was, like, full frontal in it. That's too much. And after he announced, after Superman, you got to watch, we put it on digital early so you could watch Peacemaker 2 because it continues, what happens in Superman. But it's adult. Why? There's no reason for that. There's just no reason. I get it, he's trying to be funny and outrageous, but Superman is for kids. The movie was for kids. This is DC. It's kind of supposed to be kid-friendly enough. I'm not big on kid-friendly stuff in my work, but there's lines I don't want to cross because then that really makes it not kid-friendly. That makes it adult. Full frontal nudity makes it adult. An orgy makes it an adult product. That's too much. Like, if you threw in, like, he falls into sex and drugs and alcohol, but you didn't see anything, Even if you had mentioned there was an orgy, sort of just in passing as a joke, that would probably be, it'd be a little racy, but it'd be okay because the kid didn't actually see anything. But when you're coming right off of Superman and you're saying these things connect, and you know Superman's for kids, yeah, that's too much. I'm no prude, but that's too much for Superman. You shouldn't have tied it into Superman. That no, you don't have to watch Superman and know what's going on in Peacemaker or vice versa. They're two separate things. They're in the same universe, but they're two separate things. He purposely did that, I think, to get people to watch it. But that was what. Who's going to watch Peacemaker just for the sex, drugs, and violence? It's going to be kids. It's 100% the kid market. It's something forbidden that they could see because they're kids and blah, blah, blah. Alex, so Peacemaker is following in the footsteps of the boys? Bad move. I guess so. I don't know. It's stupid because it's everything that superheroes aren't supposed to be. And I called it degenerate in my video. And I don't use that word a lot. I'm not a religious guy like the guys on Fandom Pulse. I don't get on my moral high horse. I'm not squeaky clean, but it's kind of degenerate to do that. To put a bisexual orgy in a superhero thing and show it, it's too much. It's just too much. You're crossing a line. It's not funny. You don't need to show it to make it funny. I get what you're trying to do, and it's been done. It's already been done. The boys already did all that stuff. The boys already took it to the nth degree. So there's other ways to be clever. And James Gunn has shown he's perfectly capable of being clever without being that filthy and gross. He's just, and maybe it's part of the humiliation ritual for John Cena. I don't know. But, and I don't like the Peacemaker character either. Setting aside my feelings about John Cena, I don't like the Peacemaker character. If you watch the Suicide Squad, he's a bad guy in that. And he dies at the end, but they bring him back to life. No. For reasons that don't make any sense either. There are plenty characters that die in the DCU, and they're having brought back, but they bring back Peacemaker? No. Sorry. Doesn't make any sense. And I think it's just it was a dumb character even in the Suicide Squad. Yeah, so the whole thing just does not sit well with me. Ardent, new meme DM on X. All right. Can I look at this or am I going to get me in trouble? All right, new message. Wait, where's my new message? Oh, here it is. Can I look at this? I can. Pineapple face. I don't think you needed to put the pineapple over her, but okay. I think you just needed to put the tuft of green. She kind of already looked like a pineapple face. Oh, I probably shouldn't show the message. I don't know if there was anything on that. I don't think you said anything on that. Ardent. Oh yeah, no, it's fine. Okay. And here's another person I have a problem with. Sydney Sweeney's degenerate Dr. Squat. Again, I have to agree with that assessment. It's kind of degenerate. Her bathwater and a soap. Come on, you weirdo. Don't do that. Dumb. I don't want your vagina smelling a soap, okay? There, I said it. I don't want that. No, I don't want to smell like Sydney Sweeney's dirty vagina. It's just dumb. The whole thing's dumb. Ardent. LOL 2.0 note understood. Nah, it's fine. Alex Ogle, you were going to come over. You were going to come over all Jen Psaki, Fjarnarn, and circle back regarding the Lotus Eaters. Yes, I am. Ardent. Degenerate isn't a term for just the religious. Vagina, sweaty ass, crack. Oh yeah, that too. All right, so let's talk about something I feel I need to talk about. If you guys don't know, James Lindsay and Carl Benjamin are in quite the little tweet war on X. And if you haven't followed it, holy cow. It's been pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So let me see if I can find the key thread in this. But they're going back and forth. And I'm going to summarize this. You got to dig into it yourself. But basically, Ardent. Oh yeah, and now Guz Khan is going at Carl too. Kind of a SE ethnic comedian from Pakistan. Yeah, I don't know that dude. But the essence of it with Lindsay is, and I think Carl's getting a beat down on this. So this was one of the beatdowns. But basically, Carl is post-liberal. So he no longer believes in being a liberal, and he's come to the conclusion that liberalism leads to communism, in a nutshell. Lindsay pushed back on that, and whether or not you believe that, set that aside. And Lindsay's calling him woke right. Now, that's another whole argument, but set that aside too. But the key moment where I think Ardent post-liberalist, yeah, that was his whole, wasn't that his whole homemade party that he made up at one point? Oh man, I can't find it. So I'll just summarize it poorly. Basically, Carl said that Karl Marx had some good ideas, essentially, or had some good critiques of capitalism. And while he doesn't agree with Marx's solution, he agrees with the critique and thinks we need something other than capitalism, which is a weird thing because Carl, in one of his videos, and I still watch his videos, and I like Carl, I really do, but I think he's way off base with this. Ardent, more of a political philosophy position based on classical British liberal values, but it was clunky at best. Well, the thing I have a problem with, too, with the liberalist thing, he just kind of dropped it. It didn't take off, so he just kind of say, eh. But basically, he said, we need something other than capitalism, which was just like, holy smokes, man, where are you at now? So he has been taking it on the chin because, you know, some of his old posts and videos have come back to haunt him and the things he said. And it just seems like, and he's arguing that communism is not collectivist. That was the key one. That was the one that got me to finally comment. I was like, how the hell? Carl, listen to yourself. How the hell do you say communism isn't collectivist? But he has an explanation. He's also, too, been telling people, you know, keeps reminding people that he has a degree in philosophy. But like James Lindsay, I believe, has more degrees. Now, he doesn't have a degree in philosophy, but like, I mean, Lindsay has a degree in mathematics and some other stuff. pretty sure I would listen to the guy who knows mathematics before I'd listen to the philosophy major. But Ardent, I have to say, I think both Carl and James are too far up on their own sphincters and sniffing their own farts, too divorced from reality, in my opinion. Yeah, Carl is very fickle. Farage, liberalism, etc. Yeah. So I really, I feel like Carl went and got that degree, and he kind of got sucked into a similar situation that Lindsay had, but Lindsay had it much earlier. Like Lindsay was a liberal, but he sort of had a come to Jesus moment, and then realized a lot of academia was left leaning nonsense that nobody should listen to. But like in terms of who's read more and understood more, I really got to give it to Lindsay. I mean, Lindsay's, Carl's not ignorant, but man, his take is just getting trashed. Ardent. Carl was all about personal liberties until the cops started stop and fricking the black kids in London for knives. As I say, too divorced from reality. Alex Ogle. Joseph Schumpeter probably comes closest to Carl's opinion. He observed that Marx was a competent sociologist but rubbish at economics and politics. Unfortunately, Schumpeter expresses himself better. Ardent. Frisking. Oh, frisking. Right. Yeah, and I think part of it comes from the same problem that academia has and leftists have. They don't have a good grasp of economics at all. Lindsay has a better grasp of economics because he was a mathematician. And you cannot have a bad grasp of economics if you're a mathematician, because the reality of math will put you right into the Austrian school, I think. Alex Ogle. Lindsay to me is a typical autistic intellectual who delves too deeply and too greedily. Perhaps. I do think I think Lindsay has a bit of an ego, of course, but the guys defending Carl and the way Carl has presented himself, I feel like he's weakened himself. Like, he said things that indicate his position is weaker. Like, he keeps mentioning his degree. That, to me, is right there. Like, he's a little nervous about that. And some of the guys defending him, and at one point, Carl said the guys, following Lindsay are morons. I didn't take that personally, but somehow I thought, oh, I think he's talking about me. But some of the guys defending Carl, and I was reading some of the comments, I really didn't understand what the hell they were talking about. They sounded like morons to me, and it wasn't because I disagreed with them. They just didn't seem to be very coherent. So yeah, it just looks bad. For Carl, I mean, because it seems like Carl taking this move, it's like he said something kind of controversial in a bad take in a way that made it worse, and now he's sort of doubling down like everybody does, right? Ardent. The ability to see things in their correct perspective may be, and often is, divorced from the ability to reason correctly, and vice versa. That is why a man may be very good at theorists, yet talk absolute nonsense. Schumpeter. There you go. There you go. So yeah, I feel like Carl's heading into an area that he's in over his head. But, his fight for UK sovereignty, I kind of, pretty much agree with. I think, yeah, they're taking in way too many immigrants and they should kick them all out, or at least stop taking them in. And that's a real problem in the UK. It's a real problem. It was a problem here, but not like it is in Europe. And so I think he should just concentrate on that and not get down in the weeds and this. I don't see what other system he thinks he. And I'll tell you who else came out and made a comment, and he almost never dives into this, is Razor Fist made a comment about, Carl's take on capitalism, basically telling him that capitalism isn't a theory, but the absence of theory. It's sort of basically the natural result of trade and interaction between humans. So, Alex Ogle, the trouble with Carl is he's still fresh to this type of argument where one is required to understand and back up one's assertion. It doesn't mean he's bad at it, but he needs to modulate his ideas. Ardent, I like AA's academic agent's response to Stelios's challenge. Why get into a point-scoring debate that will not sort out any of the deeper issues? I think AA was right to say no. Perhaps. I just think, in the case, Ardent, it's a pointless ego stroke on both sides, as is everything on the internet. But then again, I also follow, for some reason, the arguments between Ethan Klein and his various Hassan Piker and all that. I've been watching this channel, just following the drama back and forth, and I just kind of find it fascinating, but glad I'm not in it. Not that I would ever be, but yeah, it's a lot of drama on the internet that I think no one needs. Ardent, and honestly, I think AA is very egotistical. Well, I think for, the UK and Canada, I get it. There's a lot of frustration. But there really is a lot of work to be done, too. And I think that work needs to be more pragmatic, So it's getting people elected, trying to get the word out, trying to turn things around. As hard as that is, it needs to happen. And it just kind of can't happen. There's only so much you can do on the internet. Ardent, if you like just argument for the sake of argument, check out some of the old Christopher Hitchin clips. That man was a bastard, and you couldn't help but like. Yeah, I've seen a few clips with him. He's funny. Ardent, generations of work. Upside, groups are beginning to organize and stand up for the right. It's not so much that. It's just you need to do the work. You need to... that was a bad phrasing of it. You need to do all the civic stuff, the boring stuff that nobody wants to do. You need to run for office. You need to take over your school boards in the United States and stuff like that. And you need to go through the rules and figure out, well, how do we change this? How many votes do we need and all that BS. Nobody wants to do that. And I don't blame them. My eyes glaze over. And I'm a creative guy. Always have been. I can't do that stuff. But everybody wants my job. Nobody wants to do that other boring crap. But some people are actually good at it. And I get it. It sucks. You want to be the cool dude who makes up stuff out of his brain and everybody likes. But not everybody can do that. It's got to be the work. It's got to be get the people in office. Change the law. Change the policy. Especially at a town, county, and state level here. That's where we really drop the ball. It's the local governments in the United States that really need change. And if you have a bad local government, it can be very bad for a long time. Alex Ogle, I hate it when people talk about capitalism like it's a thing. It's a word invented by the French to pathologize British funding their war against France, raise money through trade and business rather than levying tithes and making demands like the ancient Romans, Carthaginians, and Greeks did. Yeah, and it's just stupid. Like, how many times are we going to have this argument? It's settled. It's like settled case law. It's a thing. Capitalism is the best. It's just the best. Whatever that is. people trading stuff. Oh no, we're going to have a different system. No, that never works. Never works. Why doesn't it work? Well, we'll make a bunch of rules and then people won't have regular capitalism. No, there's always a black market. Always. Every socialist regime, every communist regime, every fascist regime, they all have black markets. Every single one of them. Why? Because capitalism always works. If there's money, unless you abolish money, good luck doing that. There'll always be somebody going, listen, I want that thing that I'm not supposed to have. And someone goes, well, I'll get it for you, but it'll cost you. Doesn't matter. But you could be killed by the political regime here. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Give me double that then, and I'll get it for you. That's the way it works. It's money. So you can either have it unrestrained and to a great deal of an extent and have it above board and try to like keep the playing field level and, you know, try to make sure nobody gets ripped off. Or you could drive it all underground where the highest bidder wins. Ardent, yeah, local politics, law challenges, etc. We have the Dominion Society and Jeff Evely with the PPC here in Canada. There's the OGC, Old Glory Club, in the US. Not sure if there's an organized generational resistance to the UK yet. In the UK yet, excuse me. Yeah, I get the sense there's a lot of protest in the UK. And you have like Tommy Robinson, and you have the guys in the Lotus Eaters and a few others, but it feels very disparate there. I don't know, I'm not there, so it's kind of hard to read it from here. Ardent, capitalism is the best, so far. No, it's the only thing. Abolishing money won't stop trade and for profit. If we could manage to beat resource scarcity, different story, but this isn't Star Trek, unfortunately. No, still wouldn't matter. There'd always be some kind of resource. If it was, Star Trek, it would be power. Something, or the amount of replicators you have. Alex Ogle, I love the interview with the Soviet economists when communism collapsed, asking Western economists how they set prices and not being able to understand there was no central control. Like the worst kind of insanity, they deluded themselves that they just needed more data and faster computers to make it work. Yeah, and there are people like that, They just don't understand. You gotta... There's a price for everything. And there's a few factors, and then you factor it in, and that's it. You make the price. And the moment somebody comes along and says, no, we're going to make sure certain people get a better price because they have it unfair, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Like right now, there's a very unfair system in the UK. There's definitely 2 tiers of criminality going on. I don't know how you fix that in the short term, but in the long term, you're going to have to fire a lot of people. You're going to have trials that are going to be unbelievable. But eventually, hopefully you can get your system back on track, but it's really been pushed to the brink, I think, which is why you're probably going to get some sort of civil war situation in England, and then maybe you could sweep in and fix everything afterwards after a bunch of people die. But in the United States, it's just tweaking. But people here tried to push us into an extreme situation, but it didn't work. But they're trying again already. Ardent, yeah, but the Soviets also thought Lysenkoism could work. Now there's a nutty philosophy. Yes, and there's people who are pushing the equivalent of that. You have to have a merit-based society as much as you can. Those that are capable get rewarded, and those who are not as capable, they get rewarded less. But hopefully it's a bottom-up thing, and the guys at the top. I mean, like, when you look at something like the internet, how it's improved people's lives. I know there's a bunch of terrible things on the internet, but overall, I think it's a vast improvement of technology and whatnot, because you have people who now get on the internet and they can know just about anything, and before that just wasn't possible. Or it took much longer. There were pockets of deep, deep ignorance, but now you can look up so many things on the internet. Recipes. The other day I was watching a ketchup recipe. I was like, oh, I could make ketchup. And I was so happy. I was like, I love ketchup. And I am not totally satisfied with the ketchup I've been eating. And then I watched this video. I was like, that's so easy. I could make ketchup. Oh, I can make my own ketchup. That would be great. And I'm not kind of psyched to try it at some point. I mean, it's a small example, but you see what I'm saying. Alex, when the American Soviets were established, every meal will be gabagool and pasta fazool. Ugh, I hate pasta fazool. Just to annoy the Italians. I hate pasta fazool. It's gross. I know. I'm going to say it right here on camera. But pasta fazool is the worst. My mother likes to make it with chicken, red sauce, and lima beans. Those three things. You tell me that's good. You tell me how that could be good. Ugh. The smell of it makes me want to retch. And I eat often at my folks because they live not too far away. But once in a while, I'll call up. Oh, are we doing dinner tonight? And my mother will say, oh, I'm going to make pasta fazool for your father. I'm like, I'm out. I'm not coming. And I go get a sandwich or something. Ardent, a chicken in every pot and a pineapple on every pizza at Alex Ogle? Question mark. Alex at Ardent, that's the Canadian Soviets. Ardent had beans and wieners for supper tonight. Can't imagine putting pasta in it. I'm not a baked bean guy either, but putting pasta in it would be weird. I don't know. It's so sweet and thick, that stuff. Ugh. I just don't like beans, really. I kind of like beans raw. Beans raw I'm pretty fine with. And a couple of, like, string beans I like. But, like, lima beans, cooked, no way. I'll eat them raw. They're not bad raw. They're a little crunchy. Peas raw, I could eat them all day. Oh, my God. Good raw peas. Nothing better. You cook them, I'm out. Ardent, homemade baked beans are amazing, but this was bushes from a can. Alex Ogle, scrumptious Newfie fare, all served half an hour off. Half an hour off. Anyhow, Ardent at Alex Ogle, LOL. Finishing up Fandom Pulse. Yeah, here it is. Katie Sackhoff explains how she lost all her confidence after filming The Mandalorian. It broke me. That's a shame, but I think it happens. This was funny. I remember this story because I interviewed Harlan Ellison. That time, Harlan Ellison sued Marvel Comics and settled for a lifetime subscription to all their books. Not just all their books. According to Harlan, and he told me the story, he not only got all their comics, he got everything Marvel made as part of his 1983 settlement. Because he sued them over a story. It was called, I forget, I think the original story was called Trooper or Soldier, and then the Marvel did a ripoff of the story called Soldier or Trooper. I forget which way it went. And Harlan sued them successfully. And the settlement was Harlan got every single thing Marvel made. If it came from Marvel, Harlan had to get a copy of it. So, and it wasn't just the comics, it was like everything. Ardent, don't be jealous because the Newfoundlanders get the future first. Oh, damn. Yeah, and then Harlan said he put it in his will that when he died, his entire collection, I think his entire collection, not just the Marvel stuff, would get burned or something. Ardent. Harlan had some amazing stuff then. Yes, he did. But it wasn't even the Marvel stuff he got since the 80s. He had stuff going way back because he was a comic book fan. And he was an older guy, so he had like stuff from like Whiz Comics and like original Shazam stuff. I mean, like, Ardent. Burned? Yes. That's what he said. Whether or not they went through with that after he died. Ardent, what a spiteful bastards. Let me tell you my Harlan Ellison story, which I find hilarious, but I may have told this before, but I'll tell it again. Alex Ogle, I watched the episode of The Discarded from the series Master of Science Fiction, directed by Jonathan Frakes and starring John Hurt and Brian Dennehy. Harlan Ellison made a cameo. Oh, neat. So, a friend of mine told me this. I assume it's true. But Harlan had a trap door in his bachelor pad. Because that was like, supposed to be like a 60s thing. Where, you know, like super spies would do that. And like when you push the button, I guess you slid down a slide. And he did that to impress girls in his like bachelor pad. So he had some hot chick over and get her on the trap door and push a button. And she'd slide down into like a shag bed or something. The Kraken. Hello, Tony. Hello, chat. How was the event? It was really good. I had a really good event today. Sold a lot of books. So anyway, that was Harlan's deal, right? He had this trap door. And then the other part of that story, my friend told me, is that Mike Barron heard about the trap door. Now, Mike Barron, if you don't know him, he co-created Nexus and the Badger and a few other things. He's really funny. He's a comic guy. And so he heard about it, and he thought it was the coolest thing. But he was already married, but he wanted a trap door in his place. So he was having his place built. And he had a trap door put in his bedroom, I think it was. Alex Ogle, at Kraken, awakes. So he had a trap door made in his house that it was being built. But him and his wife were living there before it was totally finished. And apparently, according to my friend, Barron and his wife they enjoy a little ganja, little weed, like a lot of weed. Anyhow, one night they go out and they get in their car, and Barron's, checks his pocket and he forgets his weed, and he rushes back in the house because they're going to some party. So they're building his trap door. And so they built the trap door, like they cut the hole in the floor and they put the doors in, but they hadn't rigged it yet so you could stand on it. So Mike and his wife were avoiding the hole, but he was in a hurry and he forgot the hole was there. I shouldn't be laughing, but according to the story, he ran back into his bedroom to go get his pot. And he forgot the hole was there, and he fell down the hole, and he broke both his legs because they hadn't put the stuff underneath it yet at all, so like you would have a soft landing. They were still building the house, so I guess he just landed on a cement floor. So apparently Barron was at a party, and he comes in a wheelchair with both his legs broke. One of his friends are like, "What the hell happened to you?" And he had to tell him that story. Don't smoke pot, kids, is the rule. Ardent, Masters of Science Fiction is free on Plex. Is Plex a real thing? Is that like, it's not a pirate thing, is it? Ardent at the Kraken. Hey. Hey, kids. What else? Yeah, here's the whole Disney appealing to men thing. Disney reportedly seeking original IP to cater to Gen Z and alpha male men after ruining Marvel and Star Wars. Yeah, imagine having the two biggest IPs. Ardent. No, it's like Tubi commercials. Oh, okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. Um, yeah, imagine having the biggest two IPs that already are dominated by men and jamming them full of feminism to try to make women watch them. And then saying, oh, we need stuff that appeals to men. Yeah, why don't you go get the rights to Sex in the City and retool that, you morons? Ardent. Someone send Kathleen Kennedy a link to the Pineys. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for that. You can watch me turn down the money. The Kraken. Plex is a media server software, but it has some custom stuff that lets you stream from various sources. I have no idea what sources they are or if they are legit. I used to have it before they changed. Ardent. Oh, not Kennedy. Who's in charge of Disney? Bob Iger. Yeah, I'd wait for him to be out of there too. I wouldn't trust either one of those people. I don't know if I trust Gunn, but Gunn doesn't work at Disney. But who would be good? Who would be good for the Pineys? Maybe Universal. I wouldn't mind Warner Brothers though, because they own the rights to Ghostbusters, and I desperately want to do a Ghostbusters Pineys crossover, and I would absolutely pitch that. But Disney, no, nah, they'd have to give me the contract that no one ever got. They would have to give me an ironclad contract. Those people would have me killed if they gave me the contract I wanted. So I don't know, man. Ardent, don't turn the money down. Just refuse to surrender the rights or the rights of refusal. Well, that's how they get you. They offer you the money and then they don't give it. You know, they don't put it in the contract. They put some loophole in there. Yeah, those people aren't going to offer me that kind of deal. You have to be Harry Potter level to get that kind of deal. I have to sell 6 million books. Once I sell 6 million books, then I can ask for whatever I want. But soon AI will do all the work for me, and I won't need Disney. However, I will need Elon Musk. What else? More K-pop demon hunters. Hey. Tony Hale worried he'd be replaced in Toy Story 4 by a huge star. I forget, who does he do in Toy Story? Forky. Oh, he does Forky. I don't know. Forky's not exactly the greatest character in the world, but guess that's a worry. Jesse Tyler Ferguson on pressure he felt with gay role on Modern Family. No way to please everyone. Okay, isn't that show off the air? Why are we talking about that now? Why does Variety do that? It goes back in the past to ask questions nobody would ask. I'd say. Doesn't seem to be much over here. Ardent, Paramount for the Pineys? You know, I used to think Paramount. I don't know, maybe with the Skydance merger, if they fire all the woke people who works at Paramount. I don't think they have a huge woke problem, but it seems to be a problem. I I mean, definitely with Star Trek, that seems to be a problem. Seems to be a lot of lefties in the news division. I don't know, maybe. I often imagined it would be Paramount for some reason. Kobe Bryant film in the works at Warner Brothers. That sounds kind of like a snore. Alex Ogle, is there anything good coming out between now and the end of the year? Excellent question. Let's find out. Let's find out upcoming releases. Ardent, I think Kurtzman is more the issue that at Star Trek. Sure, but the CBS guys and the 60 Minutes crew aren't much further behind him. I mean, they seem pretty GDS. The Roses, that looks terrible. That's a remake of War of the Roses. Caught Stealing looks good. Toxic Avenger, that doesn't look good. At best, that's a stream movie. Run looks laughably bad. American Sweatshop, maybe. Tina, I guess that's Tina Turner bio? I don't know. Another in the Fire. This is all September now. Conjuring the Last Rites might be okay. There's Splitsville. Hamilton, the movie. Ugh. The Threesome, another movie about relationships that seems kind of degenerate. Twinless, The Baltimoreans, which doesn't look great. It's a comedy, but I do like the names. The Baltimoreans. Pools, which also look bad. I talked about that earlier. The Legend of Hai? Seems to be a Chinese animation action adventure thing. Light of the World, Everything to Me. Love Brooklyn, The Savage Art. The Life and Cartoons of Pat Oliphant. So far, no. Ardent, I am refusing to see The Toxic Avenger until Dinklage apologizes for pulling the steppy stool out from under the other little actors. That seems like a small problem. The Long Walk, a lot of people keep saying they want to see this movie. I think it's going to be disappointing, but I'm not that big of a Stephen King fan. I didn't read this one. It's based on a short story. I don't know if he can make a 2-hour movie of it. It doesn't look good to me. Downton Abbey, no thank you. Spinal Tap 2, I want it to be good. It doesn't look good. History of Sound, Code 3, another comedy. I want it to be good. Doesn't look good. Steve, another comedy drama. Doesn't look funny at all. Not interested. Him, it's like a sports horror movie. Different, I'll give you that. Ardent, short-term solution, maybe? Bit of a long reach, even? A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. That looks totally contrived. In Whose Name? Zeno. Zeno looks stupid. The Senior. Dirty Boy. Dirty Boy. I don't know what that is. The Summer Book. Hunting Jessica Brock. Peacock, Another End. Andrea Bocelli, Because I Believe. No, thank you. One Battle After Another. That might be good. But I think it may be unintentionally funny, because the scene I saw looked kind of funny. Eleanor the Great. The Strangers, Chapter 2. No. Gabby's Dollhouse. No. BFFs. No. Bo the Artist. No. Satisfied. No. October. Good Boy. That looks interesting. They're billing it as a comedy horror thriller. It is a horror movie from the point of view of the dog. So like the dog is trying to save his master from some evil entity. I'm kind of up for it. I think that could be fun. The Smashing Machine, if you're into MMA fighting, that's going to be a big movie for those fans, because that's one of the main dudes. And it's Dwayne Johnson as the dude, one of the big guys in that world. Alex Ogle. With all the rather crappy adaptation of War of the Worlds, I'd take a film of John Wyndham's The Kraken Wakes. Aliens invade the oceans and wage war on humanity from the deep. Maybe. The Kraken. I will watch Tron, but not in the cinema. Oh yeah, the War of the Worlds. Did I not call it with Ice Cube and War of the Worlds? God, that looked abominable. And apparently it was. Bone Lake. The Ice Tower. Grow. Legend of Johnny Jones. Coyote. They all look bad. If I had legs, I'd kick you. No. Comedy drama. Yeah, Tron Ares. That actually looks like it might be okay, but it is Jared Leto. Jeff Bridges is in it again. The follow-up to Tron was an abortion of a movie. So, yeah, that is a streamer at best. Ardent at Alex Ogle. Time for a remake of Day of the Triffids. Only the vegans can save us from all the havoc-wreaking run-amok plants. Alex Ogle. That or the Crystallids about a mutants being suppressed in the future society. It could be a superb antidote to The Handmaid's Tale. Anime. I said this wrong when I did the trailer reaction and everyone corrected me. I'll say it wrong again. I'll keep saying it wrong. Screw you people. Daniel Day-Lewis's return. I think it'll be watchable. His son directs it. Sean Bean's in it. So how bad could it be? Roofman. Channing Tatum. How good could that be? Kiss of the Spider-Woman. Soul on Fire. Chicken Hair and the Secret of the Groundhog. Whatever that is. There was not. It was just an accident. I saw the trailer to that. That looks like it's decent. That's an Iranian movie where I believe this is the movie I'm thinking of. Let me click on it to make sure. Yeah, that's it. So it's an Iranian movie, and the premise is this car mechanic runs into this guy. Now, previously, he had been in jail and tortured terribly by one of the jailers. And he runs into this guy, and it's him, or he thinks it's him. So he, knocks him out. He's going to take him out the desert to kill him because he's so bad. But while he's out in the desert, the guy convinces him he's got the wrong guy, perhaps. So he decides not to kill him, but to contact his fellow torturees, because there were other people who were tortured too that he knows, and show him the guy to see if they can determine if in fact this was the guy who tortured them. Now it takes place in Iran, which already has a very, pretty brutal regime. So that sounds like a kind of an amazing sort of premise. So it could be very good, I think. Ardent. Anemone. A good gauge of whether it'll be good. Will Sean Bean survive the film? Not worth watching then. Alex Ogle. They should make a Tron follow-up with Olivia Wilde in a bikini. Sydney Sweeney can play Master Control, also in a bikini. Both of their bikinis are slowly disappearing, and they must unite against AI slop to save their modesty. That's not bad. It's better than the second movie. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is coming out. I don't know what the hell that is. Did a rich doctor just pay to have a movie about him? The Frankenstein movie by Del Toro. That doesn't look great. It's probably okay, but it doesn't look great. Black Phone 2. So they're making a sequel to that. So itchy. My face is so itchy. I want to just shave. After the Hunt. Good Fortune. Good Fortune might be good. Keanu Reeves is the main character. Seth Rogen's in it. He used to be very funny. When he worked with his partner Evan Goldberg, he was pretty damn funny. I don't know. Alex Ogle, both of their. Oh, I read that one. Ardent. Oh, gotta see Good Fortune. It's got Seth Rogen. Yeah, it might be good. Aziz Ansari's in it, who I really still like. He got kind of the short end of the stick, and he wrote and directed it. So I think I want to see that one. The Mastermind. That looks pretty good. I looked at that trailer the other day. It takes place in the 70s, and the guy commits a crime. He pulls off this art heist, but then I don't think he can get rid of the painting, and then ends up spending the rest of his life on the lam. Pets on a Train, no idea. Stiller and Mara, nothing is lost. Wisdom of Happiness, Truth and Treason. Hedda, Regretting You. Blue Moon, Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere. I'm not going to say that. That looks... I mean, Jeremy Allen White looks like Bruce Springsteen, and that's about it. The Watchers, Detour 95, Mistress Dispeller. Chainsaw Man, the movie. Res Arc, whatever that is. I mean, I know Chainsaw Man. I guess it's another Chainsaw Man story. Anniversary, I saw the trailer for that. I don't like it. Stitch Head, don't know what that is. Begonia, that's supposed to be a comedy crime sci-fi movie with Alicia Silverstone, Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and Stavros Hakayas, directed by that guy who directed the feminist Frankenstein movie. I sincerely doubt those guys know comedy, would be my take on that. So I don't think it's going to be funny. I think it'll be funny to art house people, like snooty art people, maybe. Nouvelle Vague. Baseball the Epic. November. The Christmas Ring. Predator Badlands. As much as I'd like that to be good, I don't think it's going to be good. Die My Love, Nuremberg, Sarah's Oil. That does not look good. Grand Prix of Europe, Peter Hujar's Day. That looks really boring. Christmas Eve, Cincinnati Spin, The Running Man. That might be good. That might be good. They say they're going to try to get closer to King's actual ending on this thing. But again, it's another short story. They can't help but change it, and that can't help but sort of piss off people. But it looks at least fun. But then again, and Josh Brolin's in it, but then again, I love the original because it's so damn funny with Arnold. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. That franchise again. Keeper. I saw the trailer for that. I forget about it. King Ivory, Trap House, Indecipherable, A Figly Christmas, Wicked for Good. Oh, dear God. That's going to be big, but I'm not seeing it. Rental Family. That's Brendan Fraser in a comedy drama. Ardent. Running Man, the story was long enough that they might not have to change too much. Sisu, Road to Revenge. Is that another movie with Sisu? Because I finally saw Sisu, and it was kind of badass. It is. It is. Yeah. Sign me up. I'll watch this friggin' movie. The Kraken. I am still curious where she hid all the tape. Ardent, I still haven't seen Sisu. It's pretty damn brutal. Pretty damn brutal. Cactus Pears, David, STZ, Zootopia 2, boring. But I understand. That's going to make a gazillion dollars. Zootopia 2 coming out on Thanksgiving. It's going to be a gazillion dollars. I would buy stock in Zootopia 2 if I could. December, The Accident, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It's going to be big, but I don't know why you dropped it in December. Should have dropped it in October. Ardent, I do like Creative Violence. It was pretty good. The Secret Agent, Merrily We Roll Along, Ella McKay, Hamnet, not sure, Scarlet, Avatar, Fire and Ash. Ugh, that looks awful. I hate Avatar. It sucks, in my view. Zero AD, that'll probably be pretty big. A religious movie. The SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. That'll do okay. Is this thing on? That's a comedy with Bradley Cooper and Will Arnett. Will Arnett's very funny, but it's being billed as a comedy drama, and that's always no bueno. The Street Avenger. Maybe. The Housemaid. Return of the Living Dead is back. Maybe. I like the original. Anaconda with Thandie Newton, Paul Rudd, and Jack Black, and Steve Zahn. I don't know, man. I gotta say, I'm still halfway through Minecraft, and Jack Black is just shy of annoying. Like, I'm not annoyed by him. Even though he's doing all the Jack Black stuff, there's not too much of it, and the movie's kind of engaging. But I haven't gotten to the end of it, so. Song Sung Blue, Planet Galeese, no idea. Alien Wars Judgment Day, and on December 30th, Apophis, Nightmare, Killer Clown Girls. Oh, hold the phone. I think we have a winner. Killer Clown Girls. What the F is this? Oh, dear God. 6 women who meet in a support group one night decide to band together to mete out justice against those who have abused and assaulted women. Roman P. Martinez, who directs and writes. Well, if all 6 of these girls are pretty hot, you might have a winner? Maybe? Hard to tell from their pictures. Yeah, the movie poster's not doing it any favors. Behind the makeup lies madness. I mean, it would have been good for an October release. Why do these movies drop now? The King, the Swordsman, and the Sorceress, and Crystal. And that's it for the end of the year. Ardent, is that a Cameron avatar? Yes. Ardent, poor Steve Zahn. Alex Ogle, oof, Thandie Newton is the worst form of woke. The smug vegan kind. Ardent, willing to bet that a Apophis movie might do well. It's about a meteor that will get close. I don't think it will hit us in 2029. Let's see. It's a drama. On April 13th, 2029, there it is. Asteroid Apophis grazes Earth, but it's not alone. President James Carlisle plans the next steps of civilization in a luxury bunker in a drug-fueled romp, while a group of friends head to the coast for one last hurrah. Maybe. Ardent, that obvious domino rip-off on the right of the poster isn't doing them favors either. Alex Ogle, Killer Karen Girls would have made more sense. All right, moving on to Bounding in the Comics. Oh, speaking of stupid girl stuff, Birds of Prey almost featured Penguin as its main villain until Matt Reeves called dibs for the Batman. So, there you go. No one cares. Deadline. Conclave Helmer. Edward Berger on taking Colin Farrell through a Macau casino fever dream in The Ballad of a Small Player. Now I know I don't want to see that movie. I'm not sure when that's coming out. I wasn't enamored with the trailer. Ardent. Oh, never mind. It's not Armageddon. It's Deep Impact on Coke. John Leguizamo recalls being humiliated by early film role in Regarding Henry that perpetuated negative Latino images. Leguizamo seems to get more and more woke every friggin' headline I read about him. David Cornsweat's Superman audition. Self-tape goes viral, just oozes the Superman vibe. Eden, Ron Howard, Sydney Sweeney, Jude Law pick opens to $1 million. How $35 million net finance movie will be assessed in theatrical survival. Oof. $35 million and it opened to $1 million. Oh my. Better get yourself an Oscar, Howard, or you're in trouble. Austin Butler says playing James Bond would be kind of sacrilegious. Oh, God. What are they asking every A-lister if he'll play James Bond? Why don't you ask Chris Pratt? He'd probably go, sure, I'll play James Bond. Yeah, it'd be cool. Then you'll be in trouble. No, he probably would say no. Should be an English guy. Bleeding Fool. More on the Penguin being cut from Birds of Prey. Who cares? James Gunn teases major cameo in Peacemaker Season 2 finale. Not interested. Hulu's King of the Hill revival resists woke and stays true to its roots. So if you're watching that, you're probably pretty happy. Ardent, I love that all kinds of them are turning on Bond because Bond is English. Actors more based than the Hollywood machine are trying to recruit them. You know, it's just get a new guy. There's a million actors out there. There's got to be an English guy. He doesn't, you know, he's handsome. He does his own stunt work. Maybe he's good with a gun. You know. Get a new guy, I say. The Wrap. Chris Pratt admits he purposely made himself much fatter on Parks and Recreation. He was funny in that, I gotta say. Alex Ogle, you see, I'd find Margot Robbie much more attractive if I didn't know she was a Sheila from Strays. Struth! Ardent, Tom Hardy or Henry Cavill, obvious choices. Even Fassbender could do it. Yeah, I mean, I think Tom Hardy is a little too rough looking for it, but he could probably do it. He's such a good actor. But obviously Henry Cavill would be the best choice simply because he's already done it. And that was a tradition going back. I mean, Roger Moore was the Saint before they made him James Bond. But look, get an unknown, I would say. Mark Maron explains annoying people into fascism joke and why the Dems have a serious problem. Yes, hilarious. Hilarious how Mark Maron has to explain a joke. Yeah, that's the essence of comedy when you have to do an article explaining your joke about why it's funny. Ardent, Man from U.N.C.L.E. was Cavill, wasn't it? Yep. Cosmic Book News. Robert A. Heinlein, Citizens of the Galaxy, gets animated film adaptation from J. Olivia. So if you're looking for something based, there you go. How did I cut my arm? Ardent, yep, just checked. Alex Ogle, I didn't think much of the Man from U.N.C.L.E. film, but Cavill was very good in it. Right, and it's just like, he'd be good on James Bond, because he's already done a role kind of like that. Ardent, at Alex Ogle, same, I enjoyed it, but I didn't know the source material well. Michelle Yeoh's Blade Runner 2099 series arrives on Prime Video in 2026. Oh, good. I can avoid it. Thanks for the heads up. Jesus. More on Margot Robbie. Why are they all covering the same stuff? I hate when they do that. Here's Kate Sackhoff again. Superman box office. Spider-Man Brand New Day adds more girl power with Florence Pugh. Who? Don't know why they bothered to do that. He's a little too old to be in the Spider-Man gallery of chicks he dated. Alex Ogle, based adaptation of Heinlein is not possible. Starship Trooper was a horrendous take. Ardent, oh joy, more Michelle Yeoh. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze returns to theaters in 2026. Okay. I remember giving away a box of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze trading cards as a booby prize in a Magic the Gathering tournament. So I don't remember that movie doing well, but okay, I guess you can bring it back. And more of the same. All right, let's go to That Park Place. Ardent, LOL, I'd go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles again. Quentin Tarantino confirms stage play defers final movie once again. See, it's about a dude who works in a Blockbuster Video, and he watches all these movies from the 70s, and then a bunch of stuff like in those movies starts happening in the store, man, and he uses the N-word a lot. And that was my play, Quentin Tarantino. Please shut up. The UK gets fiery legal response from 4chan as social media site refuses to pay online safety fine. Go F yourself, UK. Ardent, Vanilla Ice, Ninja Rap. Oh, is that the one with the Ninja Rap? Oof. First steel column added for Avengers campus expansion at Disney California Adventure. Construction begins almost 3 years after announcement of the ride. God, they are dismantling Disney, it seems. Who is running that show? Finally, at Breitbart, Ardent, it's so hard not to want to write a movie where a blatant Tarantino stand-in is a serial killer posing as a filmmaker who cuts off his victim's feet. I know, I struggle with that every day. 2028, Maryland Governor Moore, latest to back DC criminals, complains Trump crackdown costing millions of dollars a day. Law and order too expensive for them. That sounds like the Democrats today. Meanwhile, like Trump is thinking about doing the same for Chicago, and the mayor's there. We'll resist you with every fiber of our being. We'll resist law and order. I'll tell people to rise up. He's actually telling people to rise up. Rise up or we'll lose all our crime. We don't want to lose all our crime, do we? Ardent, hashtag the struggle is real. Alex Ogle, DC 9 days without a homicide and the Dems still complain. Yeah, I mean, they just don't know when to, shut up. It's really not that hard. Or you say, like, you can complain that he's spending too much money. That's a valid complaint. But you don't say it like, well, we shouldn't have done this because of the money. You say it like something like this. Like, well, he is cleaning up the city, but it seems to be costing us a lot of money. He may be wasting some. Like, you want to, like, couch it so people go, oh, yeah, that's true. Because that would be a credible way to criticize him. Like, you acknowledge what he's done, but you sort of bring it down to earth by saying, well, is he spending too much money? Not that the Dems are good at spending money, but at least you kind of put doubt in people's minds. But they don't know what they're doing anymore, I think. Ardent, LOL, Chicago admin will recruit the gun-toting criminals to stop Trump from stopping the gun-toting criminals. Yeah. Yeah, why don't you do that, Mayor of Chicago? Comedian Matt Rife trashes Sydney Sweeney haters, garbage losers. All right, dude, you want a banger? I get it. You probably got a shot at it. You've been in a couple of movies. The guy's in amazing shape. Sure, go for it, dude. Jesse Tyler Ferguson says there was no way to please every gay fan with his Modern Family role. Why is this a super big headline in entertainment? I don't understand. Alex Ogle, Trump needs to go hard, showing the police in Dem cities are reclassifying crime to reduce figures. Yes. I think he should prosecute someone for that. Make an example out of somebody. The FBI should definitely be looking into that. Because that S is out of control, I think. Lionel Richie shocked after Los Angeles mansion burglarized while he was home. That's weird. He's getting up there, though. Did they have a picture of him? He didn't look too bad, if that's a recent photo. Looks like he's running away from the criminals in his massive house. Wow, look at that big house behind him. That's probably not his house. But he probably has a house big enough that someone could rob one end while he's sitting at the other watching TV or whatever. Ardent, I bet Sweeney can be made to laugh her clothes off. One would want to try. More on K-pop demon hunters. More on Jerry Adler. WKRP star Lonnie Anderson's cause of death revealed. It's a shame. She was the hot ticket back in the day. Back in the 80s. She was 79. She died from metastatic uterine lysomarcoma, extremely rare form of cancer. That's a shame. Ardent, and Diddy said, hello? I wonder if Lionel Richie did that in his house. He heard a noise and he got up and he went, hello? Is it me you're looking for? I was trying to think of a Lionel Richie song while I was reading the headline. I couldn't think of it. Alex Ogle. Richie has only himself to blame. The burglars did call out, hello? Is anybody home? We all know the same Lionel Richie song now. Ardent. Mrs. Burt Reynolds. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Well, she was the hottest girl at the time, and Burt Reynolds was still in his prime. He was still an A-lister then. I think that was right around the time of Hooper. If you've never watched Hooper, watch that movie. That's a great movie. I love that one. Let's see. Chris Rufo, Oklahoma's California New York teacher test not serious by itself, but gets to serious issue. Bill Maher, Trump pushed policies that impact people while Dems offer up high-minded intangibles. Snoop Dogg body slams Disney over his grandson's reaction to Lightyear lesbian mom scenes. I didn't come for this S. Okay, I must have missed all these. 107 accents in 107 days. Kamala Harris mocked after posting tour schedule for memoir. As well she should be. Who the hell would buy this memoir? If this ain't a total book publishing bribe, I don't know what is. I've talked about that before, but I gotta think that's just a straight up bribe. She was promised a ton of money. You gotta run. Biden's off his nut. You gotta run. I don't want to run. No, I'm gonna lose. She knew she was gonna lose. I think she 100% knew she was gonna lose. And the Dems were like, you're the only one that has even a remote chance, and you're already the vice president. It has to be you. And she said, give me some money. And they said, we'll take care of you. And they probably put this together. Ardent, speaking of body slams, did you see that Raja, Rampage Jackson's kid, Jackson did in a wrestling match? I did. I did. Was he even in that match? And it looked like he knocked that dude out and then just started wailing on his face. That did not look like a wrestling thing. Alex Ogle, rumor has it Richie was relieved when the burglars didn't say all night long. Or they didn't stay all night long. Ah, that's another song. Good for you. Alex Ogle, that's all I can wring out of that. I know part of the song of a song, but I can't think of the title, so I didn't try to make the joke. And then this was a crazy video if you haven't seen it. So this was Carnival Cruises have these cruises that have turned into like apparently floating block parties where they get pretty wild and like everything goes all night. And they ran out of chicken tenders and there was like a riot broke out on this ship and people started wailing on each other. Now, first off, how the hell do you run out of chicken tenders? Okay? Not that I would condone any of this behavior. It's insane, but chicken tenders got to be the cheapest kind of food you could possibly serve on a cruise. Like when you're on a cruise, you're supposed to get fancy food, right? You're supposed to get like shrimp, you know, lots of shrimp. Yeah, there might be chicken, but they ran out of chicken tenders or like fried chicken or whatever. That's like the cheapest food imaginable. You could fill the whole ship with it. It's so cheap to make chicken. Even now, it's cheap. They ran out of chicken tenders and it started a fight? Doesn't make any sense. They must have still had some chicken. Ardent. He was part of the match, but apparently was holding a grudge over something that happened earlier in the day with the wrestler he nearly killed. Yeah, he's going to jail, though. That looked really bad. Alex Ogle. Perhaps Red Lobster should set up a cruise line. Again, I don't know why anybody would go on a cruise ever. It's just being trapped inside a hotel that floats with a bunch of people. And if you get on the wrong cruise, this isn't the first time something like this has happened. There's been plenty of cruises, I hear, over in Europe with obnoxious drunken passengers. You're trapped on the ship with them. Where are you supposed to go? Ardent, resisting the urge to make... Oh, you've been redacted. You've been redacted, Ardent. No, this happened with a bunch of English passengers on a different ship where they all got drunk. So, it's just people who... They're idiots. People are idiots. And when you put a big group of them cooped up in a ship, it can be no bueno. Ardent, I want to go on one of those Russian cruises that go pirate hunting. That's a thing? Hold on. Russian cruise pirate hunting. Apparently it is. And Sail World has the story. Russian luxury yachts offer pirate hunting cruises. With actors? Wealthy punters pay, this is an English site, I guess, £3,500, it's $5,800 per day, to patrol the most dangerous waters in the world, hoping to be attacked by raiders. When attacked, they retaliate with grenade launchers, machine guns, and rocket launchers, reports Australian business paper Wissenschaftler. All right, there's a lot to unpack here. Thank you for this gift, Ardent. Ardent, yeah, it's effing badass. It's pretty expensive, though. No, not actors, apparently. All right, first, what the hell is Wissenschaftler? kind of newspaper is that? Hey, have you read the Daily Wirtschaftsblatt? I haven't. I haven't yet. I haven't gotten my daily dose of Wirtschaftsblatt. Alex Hochul. Movie pitch. Brits on a plane. Samuel L. Jackson to solve the issue of those mother-fluffing Brits on that mother-fluffing plane before they get into a fight, and Daisy Ridley bikinis falls off. Arden, I think that was Austrian, not Australian. Oh, okay, thanks. Good eye. Have you read the Wolfenschlappblatt yet? Arden to the newspaper. I could see Aussies doing this. It'd be fun for them. They don't get to have guns anymore. Passengers who could pay an extra £5 a day for an AK-47 machine gun and £7 for 100 rounds of ammo are also protected by a squad of ex-Special Forces troop. This does sound totally badass, I gotta say. The yachts travel from Djibouti to Somalia to Mombasa in Kenya. The ships deliberately cruise close to the coast at speeds of just 5 nautical miles in an attempt to attract the interest of pirates. Oh my God, this is like pretty badass insane, if you ask me. They are worse than the pirates, says Russian yachtsman Vladimir Murnanov. Hold on, I got to do it in a Russian accent. Welcome. They are worse than the pirates, said Russian yachtsman Vladimir Mironov. At least the pirates have the decency to take hostages. These people are just paying to commit murder. That wasn't a very good Russian accent, but still, though, it's kind of true. Oh, that's it? That's all we got. That's crazy. How is that legal? I guess it's legal. Ardent, I wanted SVD Dragunov sniper over an AK. I'm sorry, you're going to have to pay the extra fee. That's going to cost you another 50 pounds, I guess. I don't know. And 100 for the rounds of ammo. Jesus, that's pretty nuts. Let's see, is this another? There's another one. It's the same thing. I want to find this site. I'd love to find this site. Russian cruisers are lit. A pirate hunting and vacation. There's one on X. This might have a video. Wealthy Russian people are hiring luxury yachts, which are heavily armed, to sail near Somalia on pirate hunting expeditions. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. So, I think this is just a commercial. Oh, the story is fake. The story is from a satirical article originally posted in 2009. It is not real. It is not real. It's probably best it's not real. Arden, it's not real. I'm so tempted, says Arden, to crowdfund a trip, but I could never record it. It's not murder. No, I won't say that on a live stream. Arden, I suspect most trips never get approached up. I suspect that too, if it was real, but it is not. Arden, I'm so disappointed. Yeah, that sounds like it would be completely illegal and would cause the Russians no shortage of headache if they had allowed that. There would be international outrage the first time it happened. Because you got to figure, yeah, I mean, the Somali pirates, nobody's going to grieve for them, but, you know, you're going to basically blow the guys up, basically set them up and kill them. It's like, yeah, that's not going to work. So, yeah, that's about it. That's about it for Hollywood and Russia. It did sound badass, though. I have to say it did sound badass. But, I mean, you could just... I'm surprised what they don't do is just say, arm your ship because we're not protecting you, and just let the private companies. The private companies arm their ship. Oh, they would have it top-notch guys. Somali pirates wouldn't get within a mile of any of these ships. But see, the thing I was just about to say before I read that they were fake is, what if the Somalis have a rocket launcher and they just blow the damn ship up? You'd be screwed. Ardent, oh well, back to trapping my house for the local crackheads. What do you have, a hand-drawn sign that says crack here and an arrow pointing, and they put their hand down in there and they put it into a bear trap? I think that's illegal too. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. See if there's anything else on X. Here's Razor Fist. He always has something funny. Anakin, if you're not with me, you're against me. Me. Oh, neat. He's quoting Jesus Christ. Obi-Wan, only a Sith deals in absolutes. Me. What did George Lucas mean by this? I don't know. Razor got pretty religious not too long ago. Ardent. Most freighter companies have guns aboard anyway. How'd you know about the signs? Just a guess. Just a feeling. Just a feeling. Some memes. Look at memes. I probably shouldn't look at these. So I'll probably get flagged for something on it. Some of those memes can be pretty spicy. But here's one about pizza. We can end on that. Only one pizza style can stay. New York. There. Detroit? No. Chicago? Definitely not. In fact, that one has to go first. St. Louis? It looks too thin. See, New York style, you can adjust. Sicilian style, I guess that's what Detroit is trying to pull off there. It's still too thick, though. Too thick. Sicilian, you cook twice. It's only a little thicker than a New York style. And it's square. The Kraken. I got to take off, folks. I've been here listening, but I have things to do. Take care. See you soon. See you soon, Kraken. Alex Ogle. Canadian pizza. Extra pineapple. How dare you. Ardent. New York is the winner. Of course. Of course New York's the winner. It's really New Jersey pizza, but I'll let them call it New York. I'll let them call it New York. What's coming up for me? Let's see. Oh, and what did we learn today? What did we learn? Alex Ogle, have a good evening, the Kraken. Arden says later. What did we learn? Well, we learned the box office is in the toilet, really. Nobody seems to be crying about that. K-Pop Demon is the biggest movie in the country for some reason. I think we learned movies are in real trouble this year. Just terrible. The summer of suck really was a summer of suck. Beyond that, we learned that actresses can be broken. Sophie Turner is mid at best. At best. I would prefer Britney Spears now than her. There, I said it. But she's a hot little red flag to me. Ardent. Today I learned that all my dreams of hunting pirates in the Gulf of Oman have been false hopes. That's sad. Alex Ogle. Movies are about ready to be flushed. Where are the good ideas? In the Pineys, books 1 through 18. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. I had a family. Was it a kid? No, it was just the couple, I think. And she bought one book, and then bought 3 books, and then bought a couple of more, then left, came back, bought 3 more, and then bought the rest. So I sold all 18 books to her. And she didn't have like all the money on her, so she was getting it piecemeal with her friend, because she was in on the purchase too, and they were all going to read the books. And it was great. They kept coming back to the table, and I'm like, oh, hey again. I thought, oh God, did these guys forget something, or Did they read the book and not like it? No, they were like, no, we want the rest of them. So then they had to they had to Venmo one, and they had to buy the other on credit card. It was funny, but they bought them all. So it was a good day. It was a good day. Next week, I'm going to be at the Thirsty Piney. I know, that's the name of the bar, and I couldn't believe it when I heard it either. And that's happening on Wednesday at 7 p.m. I'm going to do the talk. And if I don't sell books there, I mean, that's got to be a gold mine for me. It has to be. The Thirsty Piney, you're telling me they should be carrying my books there. 100% they should carry my books. I'm going to push them on that. And then Saturday, I got something on the schedule. I don't know what it is. Just see the initials. What the hell is that? GG. What does GG stand for? I forget. Oh, it's the Groovy Graveyard. Yeah, I'm going to the Groovy Graveyard on next Saturday. That's in Asbury Park. It's been a while since I've been to the Groovy Graveyard. He's got a cool vintage store. Ardent, I was changing devices. What was the bar called again? Nice. The Thirsty Piney. Alex Ogle, get their permission to be a location in a future book. Yes. Ardent, get them to sponsor a book. I will try. Yeah, so I'll be at Groovy Graveyard in Asbury Park, 11 to 5 next Saturday. Got nothing going on Sunday. I forget when Labor Day is. Is it next weekend or the weekend after? I don't know. I think it's the weekend after. I got some stuff going. I got something circled that I didn't quite... Yeah, September's a little light for me. I got to finish the next book. The next book's supposed to come out in October, and I got about a week to try to get a draft done. Whew. Ardent. Synergetic Capitalism. FTW. Alex Ogle, next weekend in Canada. Enjoy. Yeah, so the Groovy Graveyard should be fun. And this is quite a week here. Quite a week. What was all the other stuff? Oh man, I gotta update my list. I gotta do a lot of things. All right, that's it for me, Tony D. I'm gonna go have a snack and a pee and go see what Joan's doing. See if she peed all over the house. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Leave me a like on your way out the door if you get a chance. And we'll see you in the next one. Alex Ogle, Labor Day is next weekend in Canada. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm very tired and I didn't read your first tweet or chat correct. Arden says, later, taters. Later. And we'll see you in the next one.